Got this news right here sent to my Instagram DMs by one of you guys, and it's really coming to the point where Diddy most likely will just not see the light of day outside of prison walls because we have 100 more victims that are filing lawsuits through this law firm right here, Busby. So he had an entire press conference to describe the nature of all these lawsuits. From what I seen on an article with TMZ, that it was involving a 9-year-old boy and a 15-year-old girl, and that 15-year-old girl, she happened to be spiked, to say the least, then handled by Diddy, forcefully handled, and then basically let alone to have for all the other men to take turns with her. It's very, very unfortunate, and it's just crazy the evil that truly lives in this world. This right here should really bring us closer to the fact that what's really going on in this world is just the battle between good and evil and having justice play its part. But without further ado, let's get straight into this. Let's hear what he has to say.
I believe that this one may surpass them all. There are many facets to this. The conduct we will describe today occurred over more than 20 years. There are many people and many entities involved. And we're going to follow this evidence wherever it takes us. We will find the silent accomplices. We will expose the enablers who enabled this conduct behind closed doors. We will pursue this matter no matter who the evidence implicates. These brave victims who have stepped forward deserve nothing less. The biggest secret in the entertainment industry that really wasn't a secret at all has finally been revealed to the world. The wall of silence has now been broken, and victims are coming forward. Our team has had at this point more than 3,285 individuals contact us with people claiming to have been victimized by Sean Combs.
3,000 people. It just seemed like this man Diddy was on a rampage with him and his baby oil for 2 decades straight.
After vetting, we now represent 120 individuals who intend to bring civil claims in civil court against Sean Diddy Combs, as well as claims against many other individuals and entities that we will name as defendants as we file these individual cases. And you should know, to the extent the clients feel comfortable, we also intend to make these individuals available to the authorities, specifically to the FBI. And you should also know a few of them have already been spoken to by the FBI. Now, before we discuss the nature of the claims and claimants themselves, let me comment on the large volume of calls we have received since our first announcement. Even before the indictment of Sean Combs, we had received a small volume of calls and had screened a handful of cases. After the indictment of Sean Combs and the announcement that we were pursuing these claims, the floodgates opened. People who wouldn't otherwise, for a variety of reasons, are now stepping forward to make their voices heard and to pursue justice. But no, most of these people are scared. They fear backlash in their communities. They fear backlash in their own families. They are afraid of retaliation from the perpetrators and their associates. They are rightly afraid for their own personal safety. I expect that through this process, many powerful people will be exposed. Many dirty secrets will be revealed. We know what we are potentially up against. And as is always the case in situations like this, when a celebrity is involved, people can be downright mean and nasty. You would be shocked at the length fans will go, no matter the evidence to the contrary, to defend celebrities they love. I mean, there's a reason for this word fans. They're fanatics. I've personally already been threatened multiple times on social media. And when I agreed to pursue this, I expected as much. This isn't my first rodeo. But victims who step forward to have their voices heard should not be subjected to that kind of conduct. They should not be targeted. I want to say this, and I want to be clear about it. Although we are vetting each call as stringently as we can, I always start with a mindset that I believe victims. I believe victims because I understand the tremendous courage it takes to step forward, to pursue cases in civil court against Sean Diddy Combs. You should know, in this group, it is evenly divided between males and females. There are 60 males and 60 females who have joined us to pursue these claims as plaintiffs. In this group, 62% identify as African American, 30% are white, and the remainder are Hispanic or Asian. The victims are from more than 25 states. The majority are from California, New York, Georgia, and Florida. I don't want to focus on the ages of these victims. When you talk about the ages of the victims when the conduct occurred, it's shocking. Our youngest victim at the time of the occurrence was 9 years old. We have an individual who was 14 years old. We have one who was 15.
Dang.
25 of the 120 individuals who are plaintiffs in these cases were minors at the time of the acts complained of.
And I heard that what he would do, he would basically have auditions, selling a dream to a young teenager or even younger than that. And somewhere within the time frame that he had, he'd end up bringing him to the studio and, getting aggressive and forceful with him and all his accomplices.
The time frame of the acts complained of is very wide. The conduct at issue spans from the years 1991 all the way till this year, 2024. If you wonder why there are so many alleged victims, that's your answer. We're talking about more than 25 years of this type of conduct. Now, although most of the victims who have stepped forward were victimized after 2015, this has been going on for a very long time. Now, when you think about the fact that some of this conduct occurred 25 years ago, and you wonder why would it take somebody so long to step forward, I want to remind you that many states in the United States have recognized that it's very difficult for a victim to step forward and to make these types of allegations when something very terrible has happened to them. I'll use New York, the state of New York, as an example. The state of New York has specific statutes in place that revive claims that are even claims that would typically be not able to be brought, that revive such claims, and they can be brought even 25 to 30 years later. Because there's a recognition there in New York and California and other states that it's very difficult for a victim to come forward. And I would respectfully suggest the only reason many of these people are coming forward because they see other victims coming forward.
And not only that, recently, a couple of you guys have been sending me Allie Carter to my inbox. And now Allie Carter, she's someone that has been in traffic before since a very young age, and she's seen the wildest of the wild things. She has multiple videos posted. You can go check her out, and you can stay tuned for another video that we're gonna watch together with her. She goes on Instagram Live and exposes these things, such as, I don't want to use the word, but children and forceful things happening, satanic rituals, MK Ultra programming, the whole 9 yards, politicians, entertainers. So there's an affidavit right here that you can see, and it has 4 main people on it. 2 that may seem shocking to people. First off, you have Sean Diddy Combs, which is obviously Diddy, and then another person is Denzel Washington. Many people are surprised. And now, in these other 4 photos, I'm not going to click on them because it gets very, very graphic on what is being talked about, but very similar to what's being talked about in this video right here. Basically, she was just a young woman, and it's called favors. She would literally be placed on a table for anyone's picking, and then once they pick her, it was her and a group of other people, and they had to do these crazy, heinous acts. Not only with these other celebrities, they would have crazy fetishes like doing these acts in blood. Whatever fetish you had, that's where you get it done because it was kept such a secret. No one would know about it. And even when she still comes out to this day and talks about it, it's not as if she gets all the buzz, or she's basically silenced, to be honest, or a lot of people just don't believe her. But then you have to think to yourself, why are movies like Blink Twice, which I recently watched, and it's a very crazy movie, I'm gonna be honest. It's like, if you don't want to watch anything too graphic, honestly, don't watch it. But it's basically literally on this topic in itself, which when it comes to trafficking, like Epstein, how they control them, how they spike their stuff, how they give them certain medications so they don't remember certain things. This is the world we live in. But all that to say is that she had to do crazy acts, and there were even other acts involving donkeys and animals, just like beyond what you could think about, just for a rich person's entertainment. It's wild. Let's continue, though.
And it gives them some comfort that, hey, I won't be the only one. And I expect more victims will come forward. You know, there's an old saying that says, a lie has great speed, but truth has endurance. The acts complained of in these cases that we're going to file occurred primarily in New York, either Manhattan or the Hamptons, or occurred in California, primarily in Los Angeles, or in Florida, primarily in Miami. Most of these events and incidents occurred at parties, typically after parties, or album release parties, New Year's Eve parties, 4th of July parties, something they called a puppy party, the all-white party, although several of these events occurred at auditions. Many times, especially young people wanting to break into the industry, were coerced into this type of conduct in the promise of being made a star, or in the promise of having Sean Combs listen to their tape, or even let them read for Sean Combs. You should know that some of this behavior occurred at well-known venues in New York City. Some of this behavior occurred at private residences of people that we all know. Some of this behavior occurred at hotels that we're all familiar with. You should know that more than 55% of the victims filed reported this conduct to either the authorities, that is the police, or to hospitals. We're in the process of collecting with our team assistants, medical records, reports that were made to the authorities, and I've already said that some of the individuals in this group did in fact talk to the FBI. You should know that several of the individuals, and when I say several, I mean many, who did in fact seek medical treatment were drug tested, and drugs were found in their system, weird drugs that you probably never heard of. One in particular that continues to pop up is a drug called xylazine, or trank, which, based on our research, is known as a horse tranquilizer. Now, there's been a lot of reports that we're filing a class action. This is not a class action. Class action is when one or two people file a case on behalf of a group of people. That's not this. These cases will be individual cases. Each case will live and die on its own merit. These cases will be filed individually, one plaintiff against whoever the defendants were involved in the case. Each case may be filed in one venue like California, another case may be filed in New York. One case may sue just Sean Combs, but multiple other people. One case may sue a range of people. I would expect most, though, to be filed, as I said, in New York and Los Angeles. Now, I know this. Many of you came here thinking or hoping, or perhaps believing, that I may start naming names. Well, that day will come, but it won't be today. The day will come when we will name names other than Sean Combs, and there's a lot of names.
It's finna come, y'all. It's finna come. We already know this, though. This has been said for so long. I mean, even in the beginning of the year, it was being talked about Diddy getting arrested. With time, a lot of stuff is coming to light. A lot of things are being done. There's a lot of progress being made. But the fact that there are going to be other names named, once other names are named for sure from officials and investigators, oh man, the domino effect is going to be wild. Because Hollywood is literally going to go in a frenzy. They don't want to go to jail. They going to start snitching. They going to start talking and snitching on everyone. They're not going to want to take the bullet for everyone. They're gonna be like, yo, I was doing this, but he was doing it too. Uh-oh.
It's a long list already. And of course, I already know who some of these individuals are, but because of the nature of this case, we're going to make damn sure that we're right before we do that. But the names that we're going to name, assuming that our investigators confirm and corroborate what we've been told, are names that will shock you. These are individual cases. There are indeed other perpetrators involved. They will be revealed when that particular individual case is ready to be filed. They already know who they are. And I'm talking here about not just the cowardly but complicit bystanders. That is, those people that we know watched this behavior occur and did nothing. And I'm talking about the people that participated, encouraged it, egged it on. They know who they are. I call them the facilitators of foul play, willing participants in vile conduct. As we identify them, each will be part of this case as defendants. These defendants will not only include individuals, but would also include corporate entities who ultimately profited off of this culture and behavior. I'm looking at banks, pharmaceutical companies, hotels. We know that many of these individuals were paid cash. We know that many of these individuals involved, whether they were the ones being assaulted and abused or they're witnessing other people being assaulted and abused and then paid and threatened and told to leave. Typically paid 10 grand in cash and told to leave. And then threatened as they were leaving. So in addition to Sean Combs, you should know the defendants in these cases we're going to file will include anyone, of course, who engaged in the assault or exploitation, anyone who participated in such in any way, anyone who encouraged or facilitated this conduct, anyone who was in the room and watched it happen but made no effort to stop it, any venue or venue owner who was aware of what was going on but failed to stop it, any individual or entity who knew about the conduct and benefited from it but did nothing to report it or stop it, and any individual or entity who covered it up or helped cover it up. These people who know who they are should just come forward now. I would imagine, as we speak here, there are a myriad of people who are very nervous. You can't hide skeletons in the closet forever. I would expect there are many people out there right now who are desperately searching their memories as they delete their texts and data. Now, although these are, in fact, individual cases, there is a common theme, an MO, if you will. Typically, the victim is lured into a situation where he or she is given a drink. Typically, that drink, reported by these victims, is apparently laced with something. Once that drink takes effect, the perpetrators perform all kinds of sexual acts on the victims, many times passing him or her around as other people watch and enjoy the show, and then leave the victim ashamed, confused, injured, and wondering what happened. When the victim reaches out, he or she is told not to say anything. Sometimes there are threats of physical violence or financial repercussions or bodily harm.
So sad, bro. And it's crazy to think about how all of that is literally portrayed in that movie that I mentioned, Blink Twice. It's like they literally put it in front of our face. And it's the reality that we live in.
The claims we intend to bring will include the following. Given the large volume of cases, and given our other docket obligations, and given the fact that we want to be sure when we file these cases that they are fully vetted, I expect we'll start filing these cases against Sean Combs and other perpetrators within the next 30 days. Now,
100 new lawsuits that are about to be filed against Diddy. At this point, there's just no escaping for him. There's just too much leaning to one side. I mean, like, just too much leaning to the fact that he did it. The video with Cassie definitely doesn't help. Him paying people off definitely does not help, because he wouldn't have to pay someone off if he didn't do it. So it's really not looking good for Diddy, and respectfully so, because he's been doing this for over the past decade or so. But comment down below your thoughts about this entire situation right here, because I do enjoy reading your comments and what you guys think. Smash the like button, subscribe, turn on post notifications. I'm going to catch you guys in the next one.